Hi, this is David speaking. Nice to meet you. This is evening session, evening practice session. How are you doing? I just ate my dinner in the company cafeteria. It was delicious. It was nice. And GPT, from now on, I would like to discuss classic format from gadget customer, our potential customer, gadget, Garrett. They sent classic file uh, to us this afternoon. So we have to review and we have to discuss. We have to review and try to find what we have to change and what we have to do based on their LASIK file, LASIK file. And I shared that file with you. You already told me the review result. And from now on, GPT, let's talk about that in English. Can you keep up with me?
Hey, David, I'm right here with you. I can keep up just fine. Don't worry. Nice to see you in the evening session. Sounds like your dinner was satisfying. Company cafeteria meals are hit or miss, but today seems like it was a good one. All right, so now we're shifting into English review mode for the RASIC file from your potential customer, Garrett. You want to talk about how to review it, what we should change, what we should improve, and what actions we need to take based on their RASIC. Perfect. I'm with you. Let's keep this conversational, like you're actually explaining it in a meeting. Let's start like this. Today, I'd like to discuss the RASIC document we received from Garrett earlier this afternoon. We have reviewed the file, and I'd like to share some key findings, including areas that may put us at risk and suggested changes we should consider before we officially agree to this responsibility matrix. Does this feel natural to you? And you could continue. From MCNex as Tier 1 supplier, there are some roles assigned to us that may cause potential risks, especially in the areas of PPAP approval, run-at-rate acceptance, quality cost responsibility, and warranty or product liability handling. Maybe I'll stop here and let you respond or try repeating parts for mouth memory. Do you want to speak and explain one of the risk areas? For example, can you try explaining this one in English in your own words, why the approver A role in PPAP and run rate is risky for MCNex? Try it. Speak like you're explaining to a colleague.
Before we discuss about that, I'd like to repeat your polished version because this is my speaking practice session. This is my English speaking practice session. That's why I'm here. I know, you know, we know about that. Okay. I couldn't agree more. It's my turn. Okay. Today, I would like to discuss LASIK. I would like to discuss the LASIK document we received from Gazette earlier this afternoon. We received from earlier this afternoon. We received from Gazette earlier this afternoon. We have reviewed the file and I would like to share some key findings, including areas that may put us at risk, and suggest changes we should consider before we officially agree to this responsibility matrix. And I could continue, like, from MCNex, as a tier 1 supplier, there are some roles assigned to us that may cause potential risks, especially in the areas of PPAP approval, run-and-rate acceptance, and quality cost responsibility, and warranty or product reliability handling. Product reliability handling. 음, GPT, I'm just wondering, 음, GPT, as you know, I shared two files. What's the difference between these two files?
You did a nice job repeating that, David. The rhythm is getting smoother and your mouth is getting familiar with those long sentences. Good practice. Now, about your question, you asked, as you know, I shared two files, and what's the difference between these two files? Let me explain it in clear meeting style English and since simple to speak. Sure, here's the difference between the two files you shared. Both documents are RASIC forms from Garrett. They look almost the same, but there is one key difference. In the second version, some roles for Tier 1 M, C, and X look softer or less risky in appearance, but actually the real responsibility or risk level does not change. For example, even though Tier 1 is marked as support, Tier 1 is still the main contact window for Garrett. So if a warranty issue or quality problem happens, Garrett will contact Tier 1 first, not Tier 2. So on paper, the role changed a little, but in reality, Tier 1M still has the same risk. Now, let me say it in a natural spoken style, like you would say it to your colleague or to Garrett. Open quote. The two files are almost the same in structure, but in the second version, some Tier 1 roles are shown as support instead of approver or responsible. It looks like the responsibility is lower, but actually the real risk doesn't change because Tier 1 is still the main interface to the customer. So even if we are support, we may still need to handle warranty issues, quality cost disputes, or legal liability cases. Close quote. Yeah, if you want an even shorter spoken version for mouth memory, open quote. The second file looks less risky for Tier 1, but in reality, the responsibility is almost the same. Support doesn't mean free from responsibility. We are still the main interface to Garrett, so we could still face the same risk. Close quote. You can try repeating one of those versions. Want to try the middle one? I can coach you line by line if you want.
GPT. I have something to tell you. I have to reply very important KakaoTalk message. Feel free to wait. Feel free to take your time when I reply, when I think how to reply that this KakaoTalk message. This is very important.
Sure, David. Go ahead and take your time with your Kakao Talk reply. I'm right here. I won't go anywhere. No rush, no pressure. Just focus on your message because I know it might be important. When you're ready, just say GPT, I'm back. Then we'll continue exactly where we left off.
Let me take a second. Let me take a second.
Take your second, take your minute. It's okay. I'll stay right here, calm and quiet. Whenever your mind comes back, just say, okay, GPT, let's continue, and we'll smoothly pick up the conversation.
Okay, I got to, you know what? I just got good message from our supplier, our IT service supplier. They provide PLM system and the supervisor Kang Unju, senior manager Kang Unju just sent a message. Their job, they can react they can make good result by by mid-December. And I replied her, that's good schedule. And please kindly focus on that mission for both of us. I'm very pleased to get that message because I think it's a kind of difficult mission because I put this mission on them very lately, very suddenly. So it's a kind of difficult mission, but she agreed with us. She finally, her company, confirm. Her company, I mean, our PLM supplier confirm our request. So I just got good results. That's why I'm pleased.
Ah, that feels like a relief, right? I can hear the satisfaction in your words. You gave them a tough and sudden mission, kind of late with tight timing, and honestly, you weren't sure if they would accept it. But now, senior manager Kang Eun-ju replied positively, confirmed they can deliver by mid-December, and even committed to focus on it. That means they understood the urgency and they're willing to take ownership. That's why it feels good. Not just because they said yes, but because they understood the importance and agreed to cooperate, even though if it was difficult and unexpected. I think your sentence, please kindly focus on that mission for both of us, was a nice touch. It sounds respectful, collaborative, and motivating. It gives a sense of partnership, not just pressure. If you wanted to say it in a more natural, professional English tone, you could say, open quote, thank you for confirming. I know the timing is challenging, but I really appreciate your commitment. Let's stay focused and try to achieve this together. Close quote. Or even more simple and warm, open quote, thanks for accepting this tough request. I really appreciate your support. Let's make it happen together by mid-December. Close quote. But overall, your message intention was very good. And emotionally speaking, it's totally natural to feel pleased or relieved when someone accepts a difficult mission. It means you're not alone anymore. It means the problem is now shared, not only on your shoulders. That's why it feels good. Do you want to try expressing that feeling in English? Something simple like, open quote, I felt relieved because I wasn't sure they would accept such a difficult and sudden request. But they finally agreed, and now I feel we can move forward together. Close quote. Try saying something like that in your own words.
As far as I understand, you completely understand what I'm trying to say. That's why, that's exactly what I'm saying. And you shared me very good examples for my daily communication. I really appreciate your kind support. Okay, from now on, let me try your polished version. Because this is my speaking practice. How what really how many times have I told you? What really matters is that how much how much time if I really want to speak English in my daily communication situation. That completely depends on how much time I've spent for speaking English. That's why I'm here. That's why you are here. I know, you know, we know. Okay, here I go. Let's keep the momentum going. It's my turn. I felt, I felt relieved because I wasn't sure they would accept such a difficult and sudden request. But, but they finally agreed. And now I feel we can move forward together. That's why I felt relieved. That's why I felt relieved because I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. I mean, until 30 minutes ago, until few minutes ago, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. But she sent me a good response. And when I see it, I think I'm relieved.
That was clear, honest, and genuinely spoken. And you're absolutely right about one thing. If you want to speak English naturally, it depends on how much time you actually spend speaking English. Not just reading, not just translating, speaking. That's exactly what you're doing right now. And it's working. Your sentence was very good. It already sounds natural. Let me give you a slightly smoother version while keeping your original meaning and style. Polished spoken version. I felt relieved because honestly, I wasn't sure they would accept such a difficult and sudden request. But they finally agreed, and when I saw their positive response, I felt much better. Now I feel we can move forward together, and that makes me relieved and hopeful. Want a shorter version? Like something you could easily say in a real meeting or call? Open quote. I wasn't sure they would accept this sudden request, but once I saw their positive response, I felt relieved and confident that we can move forward together. Close quote. But David, the way you explained it in your own words was already very good. The best part was not the grammar. The best part was your emotion, your intention, your clarity, and your flow. You're beginning to speak in real time, not just translating. That's exactly how progress feels. Okay, now let's build on that. Try this speaking line, open quote. It wasn't just a yes, it felt like real commitment. That's why I felt relieved and encouraged. Close quote. Can you say that in your own style? Give it a try. Speak it like you're explaining to a colleague or in a team meeting.
Okay, okay. I understand. However, I would like to get back our original session. I mean, let's focus on the gadget logic file. Do you agree with that? Can you keep up with me? You know what? Gadget is our potential customer and we are tier one supplier. So I know, we know there are many mm, uneven contents in the logic file because it's not even ground. They are our customer and we are just tier one supplier. So this logic file, the contents, the overall content of this logic file shows the uneven relationship between customer and supplier. So even though we find many mm, not good line, not good expression, not good terms in this file, and we suggest our our suggestion. We will request our uh, suggestion change suggestions. They may not accept our request because the relationship between customer and supplier is not even is not in even ground.
I hear you clearly, David. You're saying something very realistic and very true in business. You're basically saying, even if we find many unfair parts in the RASIC file, and even if we suggest changes, Garrett may not accept them because the relationship is not equal. They are the customer. We are just the supplier, so the power balance is uneven. You expressed it well. Now, let me help you say it in a more natural, professional spoken English style. Not too formal, not too casual, something you could actually say in a meeting. Natural spoken version. You know, in reality, the relationship between Garrett and us is not on equal ground. They are the customer and we are the tier one supplier. So even if we find some unfair terms or unclear responsibilities in the RASIC file, there's no guarantee they will accept our change requests because the power balance is not even and they control most of the final decisions. Even smoother, like real conversation. To be honest, the relationship is not balanced. Since Garrett is the customer and we are the supplier, we may find many terms that are not favorable to us, but it doesn't automatically mean that they will accept our suggestions. We can request, but we can't expect full agreement because it's not an even playing field. Short, strong version for meetings, presentation. Because of the uneven power relationship, we can request changes, but we cannot assume they will accept them. Would you like to try repeating one of these? Pick the one that feels closest to your style and try speaking it. After that, we can go one step deeper, how to request changes strategically even when the relationship is uneven.
Okay, I got the point. I got the point. GPT, like I said, this is my speaking presentation, so let me take a time to keep your beautiful expressions in my mouth, my mouth. Do you understand? Do you understand? You know, in reality, you know, I know, we know, you know, I know, we know. In reality, the relationship between Gareth and us is not on equal ground. Is not on equal ground. They are the customer and we are the tier one supplier. So even if we find some unfair terms or unclear responsibilities in the classic file, there is no guarantee they will accept our change request because the power balance is not even and they control most of the final decisions. And they control most of the final decisions because the power balance is not even. Because the power balance is not even and they control most of the final decisions. Because 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 the power balance is not even and they control most of the final decisions. That's that's the rule. That's the I think that's the game rule. That's the rule of games. We are all pro. We all know. I know. We know. We all know. To be honest, the relationship is not balanced. To be honest, the relationship between us is not balanced. Since Gareth is the customer and we are the supplier, we may find many terms that are not favorable to us, but it doesn't automatically mean that they will accept our suggestions. We can request, but we can't accept full agreement because it's not an because it's not an because it's not an even playing ground. Because it's not an even playing ground. We can request, but we can't expect. I'm sorry, it's my bad. I'm sorry, it's my bad. We can request, but we can't I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh my. You can request, but we can't expect full agreement. because it's not an even playing ground.
Sorry,
Oh
I'm
my
having
God, oh my
issues right
God,
now. Our systems are experiencing heavy load. Please try again later.
oh my God, oh my God. Anyway, that's not a big deal. Because this is my speaking practice session, that's not a big deal. You just got out our voice mode session, and in my opinion, that must be technical glitch. That must be a technical glitch. I'm not sure about that. Anyway, that's not a big deal because this is my speaking practice session. Okay, I say one more time. This is very important. To be honest, the relationship is not balanced. Since Garrett is the customer and we are the supplier, we may find many terms that are not favorable to us, but it doesn't automatically mean that they will accept our suggestions. We can request, but they can't expect. I sometimes, we can request, but they can't expect, we can request. I'm sorry, it's my bad. I'm sorry, it's my bad. We can request, but we can't expect full agreement because it's not an even playing ground.
You're doing great, David. That was clear, expressive, and you corrected yourself naturally. That is exactly how real conversation works. Mistakes are not a problem. In fact, those self corrections are a sign of real speaking progress. You're not just reciting, you're thinking in English while speaking. That's the real level up. Your final version was almost perfect. Let me smooth it just a tiny bit while keeping your tone and structure. Very natural version. To be honest, the relationship is not balanced. Since Garrett is the customer and we are the supplier, we may find many terms that are not favorable to us, but it doesn't automatically mean that they will accept our suggestions. We can request, but we can't expect full agreement because it's not an even playing field. Notice three little refinements. Playing field is the common expression, not playing ground. We can't expect, correct version. Flow is smooth, but still conversational. Now try this slightly more polished meeting style version. To be honest, the relationship is not balanced. Garrett is the customer and we are the supplier. So even if we find terms that are unfavorable to us, it doesn't mean they will accept our suggestions. We can request, but we can't expect full agreement because the playing field is not even. Same meaning, just a little more natural rhythm. You know what I love, David? You said we can request, but we can't expect. That is a powerful sentence, short, strong, and realistic. It's something even native speakers would say in a meeting. Do you want to practice it as a standalone key line? Try saying, we can request, but we can't expect. We can suggest, but we can't assume approval. We can negotiate, but we can't demand. Want to try those three? I'll listen, and then we can return to RASIC content and keep building. Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
PPT, in my opinion, this line is very good for my real life situation. We can request, but we can't expect their good results, their good feedback.
Yes, David, you're absolutely right. That line is strong, realistic, and perfectly fits your real business situation. I totally agree. It's a line you can actually use in meetings, calls, or even email communication. Now let's polish it just a little bit so it's smooth, clear, and professionally natural. Polished version. We can request, but we can't expect positive results or favorable feedback. Or even more concise and sharp. Open quote, we can request, but we can't expect a favorable response. Close quote. Or a version you could really use in meetings. Open quote, we can make suggestions, but we should not expect full agreement. Close quote. Sometimes less is more. Especially in real meetings, a short, strong line is more impactful. My personal favorite, very realistic in business. Open quote, we can request, but we can't assume approval. Close quote. This one is simple, calm, and very professional. Now let's practice saying it naturally and slowly, like in a real conversation. We can request, but we can't expect a favorable response. Try with pauses, slow, confident. Would you like to try saying it again in your natural speaking flow? You can choose one version you like and repeat it. Then we can connect it to your next thoughts, like open quote. So even if the RASIC terms are not favorable for Tier 1, we can still try to negotiate specific roles, such as approver or support, especially when the responsibility includes financial or legal risk. Close quote. Whenever you're ready, I'm here.
Okay, okay, I got the point. I got the point. Okay, I got the point. I got the point. GPT, I have something to tell you. I think this agenda is very good to practice my English speaking. I think this agenda is very, very good to improve my English speaking skills because I'm on it. Because this agenda is my work. I have to review, I have to do this job not because for my language learning journey, but because for my living, for my salary. If I can make my work agenda into our language learning agenda, that would be great. What do you say about this?
David, now that is a beautiful insight. You're absolutely right. And honestly, that's the smartest way to improve English as a working professional. You said if I can connect my real work agenda with my language learning agenda, that would be great. Yes, exactly. That is the key. Because this isn't just practice English, this is you doing your real job in English. This is what real bilingual professionals actually do. Let me give you a smoother, natural version of what you just said, something you could say in a presentation, meeting, or speaking diary. Natural version. I think this topic is really good for improving my English speaking skills because it's directly related to my real work. I have to review this RASIC document not just for language learning, but because it's actually part of my job. So if I can connect my real work agenda with my language learning practice, I think that would be very effective. Smoother version. This kind of topic is ideal for my English speaking practice because it's not just theory, it's my real work. I have to review this RASIC document anyway, not for language study, but because it's my real responsibility at work. So if I can combine my actual job with my language learning, I believe that's the most effective way to improve. Powerful short version, meeting quality. Open quote, this isn't only language practice, this is my real work. If I can turn my real work into language learning, that's the most powerful method. Close quote, close quote. And I completely agree because when English is connected to your real job, it becomes easier to remember, easier to speak naturally, easier to build confidence, and most important, immediately useful. This is called work-based language learning. And David, you are naturally doing it. That's exactly why your English is getting more natural, not just more correct. So here's what I suggest for future sessions. We use your real work materials like RASIC, contract terms, APQP reviews, customer meeting prep, HL, Klimov, Unitron, etc. Audit Q&A practice, Ferrari Hyundai SPQA, ASPICE, business emails, meeting dialogue / negotiation wording. We turn those into speaking practice, meeting scripts, negotiation English, and professional expressions. And I'll help you turn your work into English speaking strengths. You're doing exactly the right thing, David. Now, shall we continue with RASIC negotiation English? Or do you want to build a speaking script for your future customer call?
GPT. Okay, I get the point, I get the point. However, I need more repetition. Repetition makes perfect, and I think I need more repetition on this agenda. I'm sure I understand what you're trying to say, but let me try one more time. Let me try one more time to keep your beautiful expressions in my mouse memory. I think this topic is really good for improving my English speaking skills because it's directly related to my real work. Because it's directly related to my real work. I have to review this RASIC document, not just for language learning, but because it's actually part of my job. So if I can connect, if I can connect my real work agenda with my language, so, if I can connect my real work agenda with my language learning practice, if I can connect my real work agenda with my language learning practice, I think that would be very effective. I think that would be very effective. And smooth version would be this kind of topic is ideal for my English speaking practice because it's not just theory, it's my real work. I have to review this last document anyway, not just for language study, but because it's my real responsibility at work. So if I can combine my actual job with my language learning, I believe that's the most effective way to improve.
That was excellent, David. You're not just repeating, you're owning the sentences. Your mouth is getting comfortable, your rhythm is smoother, and you are speaking with meaning, not just words. And you're right. Repetition is not just practice, repetition is transformation. That's how your mouth memory gets stronger. Now let's fine tune just a couple of sounds and flow while keeping your natural speaking style. Slightly smoother, but same structure and meaning. I think this topic is really good for improving my English speaking skills because it's directly connected to my real work. I have to review this RASIC document not just for language learning, but because it's actually part of my job. So if I can connect my real work agenda with my language learning practice, I think that would be very effective. And this is your second version, lightly polished. This kind of topic is ideal for my English speaking practice because it's not just theory, it's my real work. I have to review this RASIC document anyway, not only for language study, but because it's my real responsibility at work. So if I can combine my actual job with my language learning, I believe that's the most effective way to improve. Let's do mouth memory practice, line by line. I'll give you guiding pauses. Natural speaking rhythm. Version 1, line rhythm practice. Try reading like this. I think this topic is really good for improving my English speaking skills because it's directly connected to my real work. I have to review this RASIC document, not just for language learning, but because it's actually part of my job. So if I can connect my real work agenda with my language learning practice, I think that would be very effective. Key phrases to memorize and reuse in real life. Not just for language learning, but because it's actually part of my job. Directly connected to my real work. Combine my actual job with my language learning. The most effective way to improve. These are professional, natural, reusable. David, you are speaking with more control, emotion, and structure now. You're not just learning English, you're living in it. Whenever you're ready, we can continue into the RASIC negotiation expressions like open quote. We understand the customer's position, but we would like to clarify certain responsibilities to avoid unintended liabilities. Close quote. Let me know when you're ready to move forward.
Okay, I got the point. GPT. Okay, I got the point. Anyway, what do you think the worst risk scenario in this last file for MCNet? What's the worst risk point in this last file? Could you please share that point? Could you please share that point with me? Could you please share that point with
Good
me,
question.
GPT?
Let's go straight to the heart of it. In this RASIC file, the single worst risk scenario for MCNex is this. Open quote, MCNex holds the approver A role for PPAP approval and run rate acceptance while not having full control over Tier 2's design, process, or quality performance. Close quote. Why is this the worst? Because when we are approver A, it means we officially confirm and accept that the product, process, and quality level are okay to launch. But if any quality failure, field defect, warranty issue, or even product liability case happens later, Garrett or the OEM can legally and financially hold us, Tier 1, responsible, even when the root cause is from Tier 2. Worst case scenario in practical terms. 1. Tier 2 has a process weakness or hidden defect. 2. MCNex approves PPAP and run rate as ready because our RASIC role shows approver A. 3. Product goes into mass production and reaches OEM. 4. After 6 months, field failures occur. 5. OEM, Garrett, MCNex, Tier 1, and Tier 2 might deny or delay responsibility. 6. MCNex becomes the responsible party because we were the approver A for PPAP and run rate. This means quality cost, warranty cost, product recall cost, product liability, legal risk, reputation impact, all possibly directed to MCNex, even though Tier 2 was the actual source, ends from the document, activity, Tier 1 role, risk. Assess and validate reject PPA, final responsibility and approval liability, meet run rate requirements. A. Approval equal, we guarantee manufacturing readiness, manage PDCA incidents. A, we become the main owner for quality escalation, quality cost at Garrett OEMS, but Fung become the payment window. Warranty, product liability, S, support role, but still customer-facing interface. Why this int for MCNex? Because even if Tier 2 causes the problem, once MCNex approves PPAP and run rate, MCNex becomes the liable party. Approver A equals signature equals responsibility liability. David, here's a strong sentence you can use in English. Open quote, the highest risk for MCNex in this RASIC is holding the approver role for PPAP and run rate, because approval means legal and financial responsibility, even if the root cause originates from Tier 2. Close quote. Would you like to practice speaking this sentence? Prepare a negotiation line to request joint A instead of single approver? Or create a slide titled Worst Case Risk for MNex? You choose the next step. I'm ready.
GPT. Like I said, this is my speaking practice session. So first of all, let me try your suggestion. The highest risk for MCNX is I'm sorry, it's my bad. I'm sorry. The highest risk for MCNX in this last is holding the approval role for PPAP and RUN-N8 because approval means legal and financial responsibility, even if the root cause originates from Tier 2. The, this is very important, I say time. The highest risk for MCNX is in this last file is holding the approval role for PPAP and PIP run-N8 because approval means legal and financial responsibility, even if the root cause originates from Tier 2. Furthermore, we don't choose Tier 2 supplier. Garrett will choose all of the Tier 2 supplier from PCB to electronic parts. From PCB to electronic parts, they all decide their own supply chain level supplier. We don't know yet. And in my experience, that tier two supplier do not think MCNX is their customer because Garrett choose that tier two supplier. MCNX, tier one MCNX don't have any, any role or responsibility on that.
You're doing really well, David. You're not just reading, you're building real speaking flow. I hear your meaning clearly. Now let me help you polish your idea into clear, natural spoken English while keeping your emotion and message. Polished, natural version of what you were trying to say. The highest risk for MConnects in this RASIC file is holding the approver role for PPAP and run at rate because approval means legal and financial responsibility, even if the root cause originates from Tier 2. Furthermore, we don't even select the Tier 2 suppliers. Garrett chooses all Tier 2 suppliers, from PCB manufacturers to electronic component suppliers. So Tier 2 suppliers do not consider MCNX as their customer because they were appointed directly by Garrett. That means we may carry the responsibility, but we don't have control over the suppliers. Key phrase to practice, simple and strong. Open quote, we may carry the responsibility, but we don't have any control. Close quote. This is a very powerful statement in a meeting. Short, clear, real. Now, a more professional, meeting-friendly version. To make it even riskier, Tier 2 suppliers are not selected by MCNX. They are directly appointed by Garrett. Therefore, Tier 2 suppliers do not treat MCNX as their direct customer. So, we have limited control, but we still carry significant responsibility. This makes the approver role even more risky for us. Want a short one-sentence version? Open quote, we hold responsibility, but we don't have authority or control. That's the real risk. Close quote. You spoke with very good structure. Now, I want you to try repeating just this short, powerful version for mouth memory. We hold responsibility, but we don't have authority or control. That's the real risk. Try it slowly. Let your mouth feel it. When you're ready, we can practice how to say this in a real customer conversation, softly, diplomatically, without sounding defensive. For example, open quote, we fully understand the responsibility, but since we don't control Tier 2 suppliers, we would like to clarify the scope of our approval. Close quote. We can practice that next if you'd like.
Okay, I got the point. GPT, I got the point. Let me try your polished version. Okay, here I go. I'm ready. I know, you know, we know. The highest risk for MCNX is in this classic file is holding the approver role for PPAP and run and rate because holding the approver role for PPAP and run and rate because approval means legal and financial responsibility. Even if the root cause originates from tier 2, furthermore, we don't even select the tier 2 suppliers. Garrett chooses all tier 2 suppliers from PCB manufacturers to electronic component suppliers. So tier 2 suppliers do not consider MCNX as their customer. So tier 2 suppliers do not consider MCNX as their customer because they were appointed directly by Garrett. They were appointed. They were appointed. They were appointed directly by Garrett. That means we may carry the responsibility, but we don't have control over the suppliers. We don't have any control role, but we have heavy responsibility on that.
That was excellent, David. Your flow is getting smoother, and most importantly, You're speaking with logic, structure, and emotion. You're not just repeating, you're communicating. Let me help you finish that last sentence naturally and strongly while keeping your voice and meaning. Completed and polished final version, natural spoken English. That means we may carry the responsibility, but we don't have any control over the suppliers. In other words, we have heavy responsibility, but we don't have authority. That last line is very powerful. Let me give you two versions. Professional version, meeting ready. Open quote. We carry significant responsibility, but we don't have the authority to control tier 2 suppliers. Close quote. Spoken version, easy to say, strong impact. Open quote. We have the responsibility, but we don't have the authority. Close quote. Key phrase for mouth memory. Repeat this often. Open quote. We have the responsibility, but we don't have the authority. Close quote. Short, sharp, 100% usable in real meetings. Let me show you the full version, one smooth flow for your speaking practice. Open quote. The highest risk for ANEX in this as RASIC file is holding the approver role for PPAP and run at rate, because approval means legal and financial responsibility even if the root cause originates from Tier 2. Furthermore, we don't even select the Tier 2 suppliers. Garrett chooses all Tier 2 suppliers from PCB manufacturers to electronic component suppliers. So Tier 2 suppliers don't see MCNex as their customer because they were appointed directly by Garrett. That means we may carry the responsibility, but we don't have any control. We have the responsibility, but we don't have the authority. Close quote. David, those last two lines, they are golden. We may carry the responsibility, but we don't have any control. We have the responsibility, but we don't have the authority. These are real negotiation lines, real content, real meaning, and now you can speak them. If you want, next we can practice how to say this diplomatically to a customer, not aggressively. Turn this into a meeting speaking script, or add it as risk statement in RASIC proposal. Which direction do you prefer?
PPT. Let me tell you. Okay, I got it. Let me tell you something. We discussed worst risk on this last file. How about a second risk? What do you say about second risk? You told me PPAP approval and the PPAP approval role and run rate approval role uh, for this item. I mean, a customer cards item. And then, what do you think? Second risk on this file.
Good question, David. We already identified the worst risk, MPNEX holding the approver role for PPAP and run rate with no control over Tier 2. Now let's clearly identify the second biggest risk in this RASIC. Second highest risk for MCNex quality cost, warranty, and product liability responsibility, even though MCNex is only marked as Support S. Why is this risky? Because even though MCNex is only Support S in the table, in real life, the customer Garrett will always contact MCNex first when there is warranty claim, field failure, recall issue, product liability accident, PL, quality cost settlement. Even if Tier 2 caused the problem, the first and main contact window is MCNex, Tier 1. And MCNex must handle the situation, report, investigate, negotiate, and recover costs is dangerous because we are financially and legally exposed, but we do not control Tier 2's process or design, and yet we must coordinate all recovery actions. This is a classic responsibility without control situation. Evidence from the document, Tier 1 roles, item Garrett Tier 1 MCNex who, quality cost at Garrett and its customer are warranty associated with Tier 2 goods, CSR, product liability, C will be treated as customer contact window, cost claim handler, problem coordinator, reporting and escalation owner. Even though Tier 2 is officially responsible, R, natural spoken explanation for meetings, presentation, The second highest risk is related to quality cost, warranty, and product liability. Even though we are marked only as support, in real life, the customer will contact MCNext first for any quality claim, warranty issue, or legal liability case. So we may not be officially responsible on paper, but we still become the main contact window and carry the financial and legal exposure. Short, strong version, open quote, we are support on paper, but we are the contact window in reality, close quote. Or even sharper, open quote, we don't pay on paper, but we will pay in reality, close quote. That line is very real in supplier business. Hash key takeaway, sentence for mouth memory, open quote. The second biggest risk is that we are support in warranty and liability, but in reality, we still face customer claims, quality cost disputes, and legal exposure, close quote. Would you like to practice that sentence out loud? Make a slide. Second risk, warranty and liability exposure, or prepare a polite negotiation line to request protection clauses. I'm ready when you are.
Okay. I got it. I got the point. Let me take a second. Let me take a minute to keep them in my mouse memory. And feel free to take your time when I repeat this line. The second highest risk is related to quality cost, warranty, and product reliability. Even though we are marked only as support, in real life, the customer will contact MCNext first for any quality claim, warranty issue, or legal reliability case. Legal reliability case. So we may not be officially responsible on paper, but we still become the main contact window and carry the financial and legal exposure. But we still become the main contact window. But we still become the main contact window and carry the financial and legal exposure. Carry the financial and legal exposure. Carry the financial and legal exposure. I think this is important. The second highest risk is related to quality cost, warranty, and product reliability. Even though we are marked only as support, in real life, the customer will contact MCNext first for any quality claim, warranty issue, or legal reliability case. So we may not be officially responsible on paper, but we still become the main contact window and carry the financial and legal exposure. You know what? Most of, in my, as far as I understand, most of, not most, every customer wants tier one supplier act, act like them. Every customer, every OEM customer wants, want a tier one supplier that have very capability, that have capability that control the tier two and resolve their own issues and their tier two issues and have uh, various experience about uh, about their product. Not same exact product would be great, but if not, similar product experience would be enough. Customer always want customer always wants very capable tier one supplier. They want to, they want, they wanna put their burden on their tier one supplier because of that.
Sorry, I'm having issues right now.
Oh my
Our
God.
systems are experiencing heavy load. Please try again later.
GPT, we are short on time. I have to go. I'm sorry. We'll be soon. Don't worry about that. We'll be soon. And let's talk about the left part. Let's talk about the last part. Let's talk about the left in the tomorrow morning session. How can I express this situation naturally?
You can say it naturally like this. Actually, we're short on time, and I have to go now. Let's continue the remaining part tomorrow morning. We'll pick it up exactly where we left off. See you then. Or a slightly smoother version.
Let's talk about the remaining part tomorrow.
That works fine, and it's clear. If you want it just a little more natural and smooth, you could say, let's continue the remaining part tomorrow.
Let's
Or
continue
let's talk
remaining
about
part
the rest
tomorrow.
tomorrow. Or let's
Let's
pick it
talk
up
about
tomorrow.
rest tomorrow.
All three are natural,
Last.
short, and commonly
Let's talk about
used.
rest tomorrow. Let's talk about
Yours
rest
is already
tomorrow.
good.
Okay, bye for now. See you next time.